Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ultimate deep dive into the luxury legacy and unseen dynamics of the biggest boy band in the world. Today, we are shifting our lens to the angel of Busan, the man whose heart is as golden as his voice, Park Jimin. But this isn't just about stage outfits or billboard records. This is a story of filial piety escalating to astronomical levels in the year 2026. We all know Cafe Magnate, that legendary pilgrimage site in Busan, managed by his father, Mr. Park. But have you ever stopped to wonder just how much wealth Jimin has actually poured into transforming his father's humble dreams into a sprawling global empire? We are talking about gifts that transcend simple luxury cars or designer watches. In 2026, the scale changed completely. From architectural marvels that redefine the Busan skyline to hidden investments that secure the Park family legacy for the next century, the level of generosity here is terrifyingly beautiful. What drives a superstar to go this far? Is it pure gratitude? Or is it the fulfillment of a silent promise made years ago during the struggle of his trainee days? Tonight, we peel back the layers of the checkbook to reveal the heart within. We are looking at 7 specific moments, 7 massive assets, and 7 acts of love that prove Jimin is the ultimate son. Are you ready to witness the true price of love? Don't blink, because the numbers we are about to reveal might just break your calculator. This is the definitive ranking of Jimin's gifts to Mr. Park. Number 7. The multi-million-dollar Golden Bean Laboratory expansion. A cathedral of caffeine for the king of beasts. We kick off this list at number 7, and we are already dealing with figures that would make a seasoned CEO sweat. But for Park Jimin in 2026, this is simply the appetizer to a feast of filial devotion. You have to understand the context here. By 2026, Magnate wasn't just a cafe anymore. It had become a cultural heritage site in Busan, a pilgrimage spot where armies from every corner of the globe converged to taste a piece of the Park legacy. But Jimin, being the perfectionist he is, noticed something subtle about his father, Mr. Park. He noticed that despite the success, his father missed the hands-on art of coffee, the grit and the grind of roasting that got lost in the sheer volume of commercial management. So, what does the it boy of Korea do? He didn't just buy a new espresso machine. No, that's amateur hour. In early 2026, Jimin quietly acquired the adjacent property to the original Magnate Bilinga massive industrial warehouse space and secretly commissioned a glass-enclosed roasting laboratory that rivals the headquarters of Starbucks Reserve in Seattle. We are talking about a renovation project estimated at over $1.5 million, not including the land value. The centerpiece of this gift was the custom-built, one-of-a-kind Gießen roaster. Plated in 24-karat rose gold and engraved with the date of Minen's debut and his father's birthday intertwined. This wasn't just equipment. It was a sculpture of industrial art, flown in on a private charter from the Netherlands because Jimin refused to trust commercial shipping with something this precious. Imagine the scene. It's a rainy Tuesday in Busan. The kind of weather that makes you crave a warm cup of latte. Mr. Park thinks he's walking into a standard supply meeting. But instead, Jimin leads him through a newly constructed corridor lined with purple velvet ropes. As the automated glass doors slide open, the aroma hits them, not the smell of stale coffee, but the rich, earthy scent of premium Ethiopian Yirgacheffe beans roasting in a machine that costs more than a luxury sports car. The lighting is cinematic. Warm tungsten bulbs hanging from an exposed industrial ceiling, illuminating the rose gold beast that hums quietly in the center of the room. Witnesses say Mr. Park stood frozen for a full minute, his hand covering his mouth, tears welling up in his eyes, not because of the money, but because Jimin had remembered a passing comment his father made 3 years ago about wanting to create a blend that tastes like memories. This laboratory was fully staffed with 2 master roasters headhunted from Italy, whose sole job was to assist Mr. Park in developing his signature blends, taking the physical labor off his shoulders while leaving the creative control in his hands. It was the ultimate retirement gift that wasn't a retirement at all. It was an elevation. But let's dig deeper into the Edu-Tainment side of this. Why is this specific gift at number 7? Because it represents agency. In Korean culture, filial piety often involves children taking care of parents so they can rest. But Jimin flipped the script. He used his wealth to empower his father's passion. This laboratory allowed the creation of the exclusive J-Effect bean line, which sold out in 30 seconds online in March 2026, generating revenue that went straight into a charity foundation under Mr. Park's name. The interior of this new wing is a masterclass in psychology. The walls are adorned with acoustic panels disguised as abstract art to ensure the noise of the roaster doesn't disturb the patrons, creating a theater of coffee where fans can sit behind soundproof glass and watch Mr. Park work his magic like a conductor leading an orchestra. The floor tiles were imported from a specific quarry in Tuscany, chosen because they maintain a specific temperature that is optimal for bean storage, a detail so minute, so obsessed with perfection, that it screams Park Jimin. The emotional weight here is heavy. We have to remember that before the fame, before the Billboard Hot 100s, there was just a father supporting his son's uncertain dream of dancing. Now, in 2026, the roles have beautifully reversed. Jimin isn't just throwing cash at his dad. He is building a legacy that ensures the name Park is respected in the business world. Independent of BTS, this gift tells the world, my father isn't just an idol's dad. He is an artisan. The Golden Bean Laboratory became the single most Instagrammed location in Busan in the first half of 2026, boosting local tourism by a staggering 12%. A phenomenon economists are calling the Magnate ripple effect. And yet, amidst the flash of cameras and the ring of the cash registers, the most valuable thing in that room remains the look on Mr. Park's face when he handed Jimin the very first cup of coffee brewed from that golden machina cup that tasted like success, sacrifice, and a son's undying love. It sets the bar incredibly high for this list, and we are only at number 7. If a $1.5 million coffee cathedral is the bottom of the list, you can only imagine what kind of astronomical luxury awaits us as we climb toward the top spot. This is the Park family standard, and it is nothing short of legendary. Number 6. The Chateau Magnate Vineyard acquisition in Bordeaux, a liquid legacy for the Park dynasty. Moving up the ladder of luxury to number 6. We leave the industrial sense of roasted coffee in Busan and board a first-class flight to the rolling hills of Bordeaux, France, because Park Jimin decided that in 2026, the Magnate brand needed to conquer not just the morning rush, but the evening unwind. This isn't just a gift. It is a declaration of aristocracy, a strategic business move disguised as a son's affection, and quite possibly one of the most sophisticated flexes in K-pop history. We are talking about the acquisition of a boutique, historic vineyard in the Saint-Emilion region, a property that has been producing award-winning reds since the late 19th century, which Jimin quietly purchased through a shell corporation before transferring the deed directly into Mr. Park's name on Parents' Day. May 8th, 2026. Rumors in the wine industry suggest the price tag for this estate, including the Chateau, the processing facilities, and the acres of prime grapevines, hovered around the 4.5 million euro mark. But why a vineyard? And why France? To understand this gift, you have to understand the evolution of Mr. Park's palate. Over the years, as Jimin traveled the world, he would bring back rare vintages for his father, turning a casual hobby into a passionate connoisseurship. Jimin saw how his father's eyes lit up when discussing tannins and terroir, and he realized that the next step for Cafe Magnate wasn't just more coffee, it was a transition into a high-end bistro culture. The Chateau Magnate wasn't just a piece of land. It was the key to unlocking an exclusive line of wines available nowhere else on earth but that specific cafe in Busan. Imagine the logistics involved here. Jimin didn't just buy the land. He hired a team of top French enologists to work specifically with Mr. Park to create a signature blend. The Edu-Tainment Cuvée, named obviously after Jimin's birth year. This wine isn't just a beverage. It's a time capsule. The narrative of the reveal is absolutely cinematic. Sources close to the family say Jimin tricked his father into thinking they were shooting a travel variety show in France. They arrived at the estate, a breathtaking stone structure covered in ivy, glowing under the golden hour sun. As they walked through the rows of grapes, Mr. Park commented on the beauty of the place, saying, "Whoever owns this is a lucky man." That's when Jimin stopped, pulled a heavy, velvet-bound document from his bag, and handed it to him, whispering, "Then you are a lucky man." Appa! The emotional impact of that moment is incalculable. It validates Mr. Park not just as a father, but as a man of culture and stature. But let's look at the Edu-Tainment value of this asset. Buying a vineyard is notoriously difficult. It requires maintenance, knowledge, and patience traits that Jimin knows his father possesses in abundance. It was a gift of trust. Jimin was essentially saying, "I trust you to steward this living, breathing ecosystem." Following the acquisition, the Cafe Magnate menu in Busan underwent a massive overhaul in late 2026. A special temperature glass vault was installed in the center of the cafe, housing the bottles imported directly from their French estate. This created a fervor among fans and wine collectors alike. People weren't just lining up for a latte anymore. They were making reservations months in advance for a Magnate evening tasting, where they could sip the Iten-Jo-Bai-Jo-Shuo Kuvi poured by sommeliers trained under Mr. Park's new guidelines. The label on the bottle features a minimalist line drawing of Jimin and his father, holding hands, a design sketched by Jimin himself. This personal touch turns a commercial product into a collectible artifact. The economic genius here is also worth noting. By owning the supply chain, Jimin cut out the middlemen for the cafe's most expensive menu item, increasing profit margins significantly for his father's business. It's a gift that pays for itself. Yet the initial outlay and the sheer audacity of buying a literal French chateau place this firmly at number 6. It shifts the perception of the Park family from celebrity rich to old money aesthetic. The Chateau Magnate stands as a testament to the fact that Jimin wants his father to experience the world not as a tourist, but as an owner. It expands the horizons of Mr. Park's life from the port city of Busan to the global stage, proving that for Jimin, the world is quite literally an oyster in this case. A vineyard, too, be gifted to the man who raised him. It is romantic, it is practical, and it is undeniably expensive, setting a tone of sophisticated grandeur that only gets more intense as we move up this list. Number 5. The Serendipity of the Sea Customs Super-Yacht, a floating palace docked at the Busan Marina. We have conquered the land with the Industrial Coffee Lab. We have cultivated the earth with the French vineyard. And now, at number 5, Park Jimin takes us to the open waters, proving that his love for his father knows no boundaries, not even the horizon line of the East Sea. In the sweltering summer of 2026, precisely on the anniversary of Magnate's grand opening, Jimin unveiled a gift that literally stopped traffic on the Gwangan Bridge. A 85-foot azimuth grande luxury yacht, affectionately christened Serendipity. No! Before you dismiss this as a typical celebrity purchase, you need to understand the Edu-Tainment nuance of why this specific vessel sits at number 5. This wasn't just a boat. It was a strategic masterpiece of engineering and emotion. The yacht was reportedly purchased and customized for a staggering $8.2 million United States dollars, a figure that includes a complete interior overhaul by a renowned naval architect from Milan. Jimin knows that his father, Mr. Park, has spent his entire life working tirelessly on land, managing the logistics and the crowds of the cafe. The sea represents the one thing money usually can't buy: silence and freedom. This yacht was designed to be Mr. Park's escape pod, a sanctuary where the noise of the world and the relentless flash of cameras couldn't reach him. Let's talk specs, because the details here are mouth-watering for any luxury enthusiast. The hull was painted in a custom, iridescent pearl nebula white, a color developed exclusively for this project to mimic the glow of a light stick in a dark stadium. Under the hood, or rather, below deck, the Serendipity is powered by twin-man V12 engines, capable of cutting through the waves at 29 knots, ensuring that if Mr. Park wants to disappear into the sunset, he can do so with serious speed. But the real magic is inside. Jimin, with his impeccable taste for aesthetics, replaced the standard fittings with a magnate motif. We are talking about floors decked in rare teakwood imported from Munich, hand-sanded to a smoothness that rivals the dance floor of the high practice room. The main salon features a bespoke, temperature-controlled display kit. Another one, but this one is for rare teas and vintage whiskeys, catering to Mr. Park's private downtime. The furniture is upholstered in waterproof Hermes leather in a soft cream tone, chosen specifically because it's calming and reminds Jimin of the interior of his father's old car from his childhood, bringing a touch of nostalgia to this ultra-modern vessel. But here's where the genius business acumen kicks in. This yacht isn't just a toy, it's an extension of the brand. In late 2026, the Serendipity began hosting ultra-exclusive, invite-only sunset at sea experiences for top-tier charity donors and VVIP partners of the Magnate brand. It turned the yacht into a floating asset that generates its own maintenance costs, relieving Mr. Park of the financial burden of upkeep while allowing him to enjoy the luxury. The launch event was the stuff of Busan legend. Witnesses at the Marino describe a scene where, dressed in a simple white linen shirt and sunglasses, smashed a bottle of their own Chateau Magnate wine against the bow, sacrificing a number 6 gift to christen the number 5 gift. The look on Mr. Park's face as he took the captain's wheel for the first time was a mix of terrifying joy and overwhelming pride. He wasn't just a cafe owner anymore. He was the captain of his own destiny. The local fishermen and yacht club members in Busan have reported seeing the father-son duo out on the water during Jimin's rare breaks, fishing quietly miles away from the chaos of K-pop stardom. In those moments, surrounded by the vast blue ocean, the price tag of $8.2 million evaporates, and all that remains is a boy from Busan, giving his dad the peace he deserves. It is a gift of solitude, of luxury, and of absolute freedom, anchoring it firmly at the number 5 spot on our list of Number 4. The Magnate Cultural Hall and Private Art Collection, a museum of memories in the heart of Busan. At number 4, we arrive at a gift that fundamentally shifted the Park family from business owners to cultural pillars of South Korea. In the autumn of 2026, just as the leaves were turning golden in Busan, Jimin unveiled the Magnate Cultural Hall, a staggering architectural marvel located just a 10-minute drive from the original cafe. This wasn't a renovation. This was a ground-up construction project on a prime plot of land that Jimin had quietly accumulated over 3 years. The estimated value of the land, the construction, and the initial art collection housed within a mind-numbing 15 million United States dollars. But to understand the Edu-Tainment value of this, you have to look beyond the price tag and look at the intent. Jimin knows his father has a deep, quiet appreciation for beauty, not just in fashion or coffee, but in the stillness of art. For years, Mr. Park had supported Jimin's artistic expression through dance. Now, Jimin was building a sanctuary for his father's artistic appreciation. The building itself was designed by a protege of the legendary architect Tado Ando, featuring the signature minimalist concrete walls, dramatic interplay of natural light and shadow, and a massive glass facade that reflects the Busan sky. It is a structure that screams sophistication. When Mr. Park arrived for the inspection, he thought he was looking at a potential new warehouse for their logistics. Instead, Jimin walked him to the front entrance where a bronze plaque simply read, "Curated by Park." The interior of this hall is where the true luxury lies. Jimin didn't just build a shell, he filled it. The gift included a stunning collection of 20 rare pieces of modern Korean art, including works by Lee Yufan and Kim Wenki, artists whose works auctioned for millions. Jimin had spent the entire year of 2025 attending private auctions in Hong Kong and New York via proxy, securing these masterpieces specifically because they resonated with his father's taste for tranquility and nature. Imagine the scene. Mr. Park walking through the silent, high-ceilinged galleries, his footsteps echoing on the polished concrete floors. realizing that every painting, every sculpture was chosen for him. He wasn't just a spectator. He was the owner. He was now the director of the Magnate Cultural Hall. This move was a masterclass in what we call reputation management in the celebrity world. By establishing a non-profit cultural center, Jimin insulated his father from the criticism of being just a merchant. It elevated Mr. Park to the status of a patron of the arts, a role that commands immense respect in Korean high society. The hall features a dedicated Serendipity wing, which is free to the public, fulfilling a philanthropic goal that allows students and local artists to exhibit their work, all under the patronage of Mr. Park. This turned the Magnate brand into a community hero. But let's get into the nitty-gritty details that make this a top list winner. The facility includes a climate-controlled vault for art storage, a private viewing room for VIP guests, which doubles as a super exclusive tea room served by the cafe, and a rooftop sculpture garden that offers a panoramic view of the city Jimin loves so much. On the opening night, the elite of business society, along with art critics from Seoul, gathered for the reveal. Jimin, usually the center of attention, stood firmly in the background, pushing his father toward the microphones. When asked about the collection, Mr. Park spoke with a passion and knowledge that silenced the room, proving that Jimin's gift wasn't just the building, it was the platform for his father to shine in a new light. The synergy between the cafe and the cultural hall is economic genius. The hall drives tourism to the cafe, and the cafe funds the maintenance of the hall, creating a self-sustaining ecosystem of culture and commerce. The most emotional detail, however, is hidden in the foundation. Beneath the main cornerstone of the building, Jimin buried a time capsule containing his very first pair of ballet shoes and a handwritten letter from his trainee days where he promised his dad he would make him proud. The building is literally built on the foundation of their shared struggle and eventual triumph. This isn't just $15 million of concrete, it is a fortress of gratitude. It ensures that the name park will be associated with beauty and culture in Busan for generations to come. Every time a student walks in to study a painting, or a tourist gasps at the architecture, it is a testament to a son's love that went above and beyond the call of duty. It is grand, it is noble, and it creates a legacy that money usually can't buy, but Jimin found a way. This is the weight of number 4. A gift that houses the soul of the family. Number 3. The Ginza Vertical Garden, Global Flagship Tower, a $30 million green oasis in Tokyo. Welcome to the bronze medal position, where we find ourselves standing in the heart of Tokyo's Ginza district, the most prestigious square mile of retail real estate on the planet, to witness a gift that redefines the very concept of storefront in early 2026. Industry insiders were buzzing about a mysterious acquisition of a slim 5-story building formerly owned by a legacy jewelry brand. The buyer was listed as a shell corporation named Serendipity Global, but on Mr. Park's birthday, the scaffolding finally came down to reveal the truth. Park Jimin had purchased and completely redeveloped an entire building in Ginza to serve as the first international flagship location of Cafe Magnate. This isn't just a coffee shop. This is a $30 million declaration of war on the global coffee market, gifted directly to his father. The Edu-Tainment factor here is off the charts because it deals with the economics of location. Ginza is not just expensive. It is a symbol. By placing his father's brand here, Jimin is telling the world that Magnate belongs in the same sentence as Gucci and Prada. The building itself is an architectural unicorn, designed in collaboration with the legendary Kingo Kuma's firm. It is dubbed the Vertical Garden because the entire exterior facade is a living, breathing ecosystem of hanging ivy, moss, and seasonal flowers that change color throughout the year, standing out like a green emerald amidst the concrete and glass jungle of Tokyo. The maintenance system alone for this facade involves a hydroponic AI network that costs more than a standard house. But why Japan? This is the strategic genius of Jimin. He knows that Japan is the second largest music market in the world and the home of the traditional coffee shop culture. He wasn't just giving his dad a building. He was giving him access to the most sophisticated coffee consumers on Earth. The narrative of the handover is legendary. Jimin flew his parents to Tokyo for a shopping trip. As they walked down Kuwadori Street, blocked off by security, Jimin stopped in front of this green monolith. The digital signage above the door flickered to life, displaying Magnate Tokyo EST 2026 owner, Mr. Park. Witnesses say Mr. Park dropped his shopping bags right there on the pavement. He looked at the building, then at Jimin, and back at the building, completely speechless. This was no longer just about roasting beans. This was about managing a multinational operation. The interior of the tower is a masterclass in spatial design. The first floor is a high-speed takeout bar using robotic arms for precision, brewing a nod to Tokyo's tech culture. The second and third floors are traditional lounge spaces with furniture imported from Busan to keep the roots alive. The fourth floor is an exclusive army lounge where digital projections of BTS history play on the walls, accessible only via a lottery system that drives insane engagement on the Magnate app. But the crown jewel is the fifth floor, the chairman's office. It is a private penthouse suite designed specifically for Mr. Park, featuring a tatami room, a view of the Tokyo Tower, and a direct video link to the Busan headquarters. Jimin essentially gifted his father a global command center. The financial implications of this gift are staggering. Analysts predict the Ginza Tower will generate revenue upwards of 50 million United States dollars annually, meaning the gift pays for itself within a year. But the initial cash outlay of 30 million, oozed from Jimin's personal fortune, is a testament to the absolute trust he has in his father's ability to lead. This moves the needle from filial piety to corporate partnership. It signifies that Jimin sees his father not as a retiree to be coddled, but as a titan to be unleashed. The opening week in April 2026 saw lines stretching for 12 blocks, creating a magnate gridlock that made national news in Japan. The police had to be called in for crowd control, not for a concert, but for coffee. And at the center of it all was Mr. Park, cutting the ribbon with shaking hands, realizing that his son had pushed him onto the world stage. The Ginza Vertical Garden is more than a building. It is a bridge connecting the humble beginnings in Busan to the dazzling lights of the global stage. It represents the Magnate name, living up to its definitional person of great influence and wealth. Jimin didn't just buy a shop. He bought a legacy in the most competitive market in Asia, and he handed the keys to the man who taught him how to work hard. It is bold, it is strategic, and it is phenomenally expensive, earning its rightful place at number 3. Number 2, the Air Magnate Custom Gulfstream G700, a $75 million palace in the clouds. At number 2, we leave the Earth behind and ascend to 51,000 feet in the ultimate symbol of power and protection. A custom-configured Gulfstream G700, gifted by Park Jimin to Mr. Park in the summer of 2026 to serve as the official corporate jet for the Magnate Group. This is, without exaggeration, the Rolls-Royce of the skies. A $75 million behemoth capable of flying 7,500 nautical miles non-stop, meaning Mr. Park can fly from Busan to New York or Paris without ever touching the ground. But why is this number 2? Because it solves the time versus health equation. Jimin has often expressed concern about his father's fatigue as the business grew. This jet isn't a luxury. In Jimin's eyes, it's a medical necessity. The G700 features the lowest cabin altitude in the industry, meaning even at 50,000 feet, the body feels like it's at a comfortable mountainous resort, drastically reducing jet lag and fatigue. The air is 100% fresh, replenished every 2 minutes with plasma-ionized purification systems that kill 99.9% of bacteria. Crucial detail for G, who is obsessed with his parents' health in a post-pandemic world. But let's talk about the Edu-Tainment specs of this flying mansion. Jimin didn't just buy a stock model. He spent an additional $5 million on interior customization, dubbed Project Serendipity Air. The livery on the tail isn't the standard stripes. It's a subtle, metallic, gold rendering of the Magnate M logo against a deep, midnight, purple fuselage that looks black on the tarmac, but glows purple under the sunlight. Nod to the fandom that made it all possible. The interior. It's a masterclass in flying architecture. The cabin is divided into 5 distinct living zones. First, there is the Sky Lounge, a meeting area with cream-colored distinctive stitching on the leather seats, sourced from the same tannery that supplies Bentley. Then, there is the dining suite, featuring a table. 4-6, where Mr. Park can host potential business partners at Mach 0.925 バットザ PI CDR シスタンス is the master suite at the rear of the aircraft. This isn't a reclining chair. It is a fully enclosed bedroom with a permanent queen-sized bed. An en-suite bathroom with a stand-up shower, yes. A shower at 50,000 feet, and a wardrobe filled with fresh suits. This ensures that Mr. Park arrives in Paris for a wine inspection or Tokyo for a board meeting looking as fresh as he did when he left. Busan! The Galitha kitchen is equipped with, you guessed it, a custom espresso machine calibrated specifically for Magnate beans, ensuring the coffee quality in the air matches the quality on the ground. The narrative of the reveal is Jimin drove his father to the private tarmac at Gimhae International Airport under the pretense of picking up a friend. As the hangar door slowly rolled open to reveal the massive, purple-glinting bird, Mr. Park was confused, asking, "Whose is that?" Jimin simply handed him a pilot's logbook with Park Aviation embossed on the cover and said, "Yours, Dad? No more waiting. No more layovers. The world is just a commute now." The emotional weight of this moment is crushing. It signifies Jimin's desire to shrink the world for his father. It's about safety removing his parents from the chaos of public terminals. It's about dignity! And from a business perspective, it allows the Air Magnate to be chartered out when the family isn't using it, with rates hovering around $15,000 per hour. Turning the jet into a revenue-generating asset rather than a money pit, the jet has become a myth in the aviation community. Spotters track its tail number, PJM1013, obsessively. It represents the pinnacle of what a son can do for a father. He gave him wings. The leap from a building to a jet is monumental, cementing this gift at number 2. It is fast, it is safe, and it is horrifyingly expensive. But even a $75 million jet pales in comparison to what sits at number 1. If this is the vehicle, then number 1 is the destination. Prepare yourselves, because the final gift isn't just an asset. It is a rewriting of history. Number 1! The Magnate Legacy City and the $100 million Philanthropic Foundation. A kingdom of kindness built on Busan soil. We have arrived at the summit, the absolute zenith of filial piety. And the number 1 spot is occupied by a project so colossal it required the approval of the Busan City Council to even break ground. In October 2026, on the very day of his own birthday, Park Jimin flipped the script on the entire world. Instead of receiving gifts, he unveiled the Magnate Legacy City project, a sprawling Niju Akure Eco complex located in the developing Jiang district of Busan, fully funded by his personal fortune and gifted to the stewardship of his father, Mr. Park. The estimated total value of the land acquisition, construction contracts, and the endowment fund established for its operation. A staggering, earth-shattering 120 million United States dollars. This puts the jet in the Tokyo Tower to shame. But what is it? This is the Edu-Tainment masterpiece. Jimin didn't just build a bigger cafe, he built a town. The complex is anchored by the Grand Magnate headquarters, a futuristic, lotus-shaped structure that serves as the nerve center for the global brand. But surrounding it is the true gift, the Park Family Foundation campus. This includes a performing arts academy offering full scholarships to underprivileged youth, mirroring Jimin's own journey. A luxury senior citizen wellness center honoring the elderly, a core value of Mr. Park, and a massive public botanical garden open 24/7 to the citizens of Busan. By gifting this entire infrastructure to a non-profit, foundation chaired by his father. Jimin did something strategic and profound. He immortalized his father. Mr. Park is no longer just a businessman. He is now the president of one of South Korea's largest private philanthropic organizations. The tax implications and the social capital generated by this move are astronomical. It cements the Park family as modern-day nobility not by blood, but by benevolence. The architecture of the legacy city is strictly sustainable, utilizing geothermal energy and rainwater harvesting, making it the first carbon-negative commercial district in Korea. This aligns Mr. Park's legacy with the future of the planet. The Central Plaza features a massive kinetic sculpture titled The Promise, which moves with the wind, symbolizing the fluidity of dance and the stability of parental love. The reveal event was less of a party and more of a coronation. The mayor of Busan was present, along with global press. When Jimin took the podium, he didn't talk about money. He told a story about how, when he was a trainee, his father drove him to the bus station and gave him his last bit of pocket money. Jimin pointed to the $120 million city rising behind him and said, "This is just the interest on that loan, Dad!" The crowd went silent and then erupted. Mr. Park, usually composed, broke down completely, hugging his son on stage in a moment that was broadcast live to millions. This gift tops the list, not because of the price, though it is the most expensive, but because of the permanence. A jet will eventually be scrapped. A yacht will sink or be sold. But a city, a foundation, a school, those live forever. This gift ensures that long after the music stops, long after the lights go down, the name Park will continue to feed, educate, and inspire the people of Busan. It is the ultimate act of gratitude, giving his father a purpose that transcends fame. It is grand. It is historic. And it is the undisputed #1 super luxury gift from Park Jimin to his father in 2026.